So Kevin O'Connell won Coach of the Year, voted by his peers and everybody that actually has a voice in the national media. And it's only fitting if you look at the road that he took to finally get Coach of the Year. He should have gotten it his first season when he took over for Mike Zimmer about 2 years ago when he led this team to the playoffs. Things didn't work out in that season in the playoffs in the wild card, 4th and 8 by Kirk Cousins. But Kevin O'Connell has been dealing with subpar, mediocre quarterbacks and made them look a lot better than what they actually are. If you think I'm lying, let's take a look at his best quarterback that he's had thus far as the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins. All right, everybody's gonna say, "Well, Kirk Cousins was a franchise quarterback," and everybody's gonna run down the numbers and yada yada yada. Yeah, the Kirk stands were, talking about how Kevin O'Connell needed Kirk Cousins more than Kirk Cousins needed Kevin O'Connell because Kirk Cousins could make any throw on the football field. Well, that was a false narrative right there. For anybody that was against Kirk Cousins, like myself, I have proof that Kevin O'Connell made that dude a whole hell of a lot better than what he actually was. If you think I'm lying, then why is he benched? Why did he get benched? And why did Atlanta look a lot better without Kirk Cousins in the starting lineup? Atlanta could have made the playoffs. I know it's a coulda, woulda, shoulda type of deal scenario, but at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins. I want to say I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure I'm spot on with this one. Kirk Cousins was 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions in like a month's worth of football. And I know when he came back to Minnesota, thankfully he was a starter. I think he gave us 3 real easy interceptions. I mean, that was one of the easiest ones ever. Kirk Cousins just wasn't himself without the mastermind of Kevin O'Connell. Isn't it fitting that Kevin O'Connell is a Sean McVey 2.0? And I had this Rams fan on Facebook give me the craps, man. He dug into me, and now that I'm thinking about it, he was telling the truth. Kevin O'Connell learned a ton from Sean McVay. When that LA Rams fan, I'm not gonna say his name, he told me. He made a video after the Rams had beaten the Vikings in that wild card game this year in Arizona. He said Kevin O'Connell will never be able to beat Sean McVay because Sean McVay taught everything that Kevin O'Connell knows. He doesn't know everything that Sean McVay knows. There's levels to this. But he was telling the truth on that. Got to give him respect on that. But, it is what it is on that part. I admit my defeat when it's the proper time. And, But the one other candidate that I guess people are gonna be putting up a fight that supposedly shoulda, coulda, woulda won the Coach of the Year for the 2024 season. People are gonna say that Dan Gamble should be the Coach of the Year. For their defense, I already know what it's going to be without even asking any Lions fan, because if you think about the Lions, they dealt with a whole bunch of injuries on defense, yeah, but at the same time, this dude Dan Gamble had 2 head coaches as his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Like, these dudes, instantly, they could have gotten jobs last year, but they came back this year. And here they are. They got head coaching jobs. So he had a full coach, a coaching staff full of head coaches right by him. Have you ever paid attention to the games when he was walking around on the sidelines? That dude Dan Gamble, that's all he was doing. He was walking on the sidelines, just minding his own business. Meanwhile, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson both had the calling cards, the play cards, whatever they're called, in their hands, covering up their mouth so that way nobody could read what they're calling out. Meanwhile, Dan Gamble was just walking around. And the Lions came into the season expected to be Super Bowl winners and all that other good stuff. We all heard about the Lions this year. It got to a point where the fans were unbearable, man. I know there's some out there that are good people, Lion fans and all that.